Hello everyone, this is Purushottam Vishwakarma, and in this video, we are going to study the rise of nationalism in Europe part 3. The very first heading that we'll study the age of revolution 1830 to 1848. But before that, I would like to remind you a very important news. CBSE has launched Cyber Security Handbook for classes 9 to 12. In this, CBSE has discussed topics such as digital security, digital rights, and digital responsibilities and digital law. It is very beneficial for all the students of classes 9 to 12, and I have given the link in description. You can download this handbook. So let's begin. As conservative regimes try to consolidate their power, liberalism and nationalism came to be increasingly associated with revolution in many regions of Europe, such as the Italian and German states. So, what we notice here as conservative regimes, if you remember, after 1815, conservative came into power once again, Bourbon dynasty came into power once again, try to consolidate their power. Liberalism and nationalism came to be increasingly associated with revolution, while liberalism and nationalism came to be increasingly associated with many regions of Europe, such as Italy and Germany, the provinces of the Ottoman Empire, Ireland, and Poland. These were main centers. Liberal revolutionaries installed a constitutional monarchy with Louis Philippe as its head. These revolutions were led by liberal nationalists, those who were educated and belonging to middle classes. The first upheaval took place in France in July 1830. The Bourbon kings, who had been restored to power after 1815, were now overthrown. If you remember, they were now overthrown. Liberal revolutionaries installed a constitutional monarchy with Louis Philippe as its head. Who was its head of constitutional monarchy? Louis Philippe. You have to remember the name. Louis Philippe was given the status of head of constitutional monarchy. Once Duke Metternich remarked, when France sneezes, the rest of the Europe catches cold. This was the importance of France in 1830s. An event that mobilized nationalist feeling among the educated elite across Europe was the Greek War of Independence. Greece had been the part of Ottoman Empire since the 15th century. So Greek was under the hand of Ottoman Empire since 15th century, and now we are in 19th century. We are studying about 19th century Greece. Greece had been the part of Ottoman Empire since the 15th century. Greek struggle for independence began in 1821. Greeks living in exile and also from many West Europeans. Not only the countrymen helped in revolution, there were many who were in exile. They were living outside the country, helped in revolution in Greek War of Independence. Finally, the Treaty of Constantinople of 1832 recognized Greece as an independent nation. So you have to remember, it can be asked such a question: what recognized Greece as an independent nation? Then you will answer the Treaty of Constantinople of 1832 recognized Greece as an independent nation. Poets and artists lauded Greece as the cradle of European civilization. The English poet Lord Byron organized funds and later went to fight in the war, where he died of fever in 1824. So, it was the importance of Greek War of Independence that ended in 1830 It started in 1821. Now we have next heading, the romantic imagination and national feeling. The development of nationalism did not come about only through wars and territorial expansions. Culture played an important role in creating the idea of the nation. Not only wars and territorial expansions, culture played a very important role in creating the idea of nation. Art and poetry, stories, music helped express and shape nationalist feeling. All these poets, writers, singers, all these helped in making the feeling of nationalism. Romanticism, a culture movement which sought to develop a particular form of nationalist sentiments. So, what is Romanticism? A culture movement which sought to develop a particular form of nationalist sentiments. In the picture, you can see it is the picture of the massacre of Chios, Hugues de la Croix, printed in 1824. And in this picture, it is clearly shown nearly 20,000 Greeks were said to have been killed by Turks. That is why it is known as massacre. Romantic artists and poets generally criticize the glorification of reason and science and focused instead on emotions, institution, and mystical feelings. If I tell you, romantic artist, what was basic principle of romanticism? Criticism of reason and science, and they focused upon emotions, institution, and mystical feelings. Other romantics, such as German philosopher Johann Gottfried Herder, born in 1744 and died in 1803, claimed that true German culture was to be discovered among the common people. Das Volk. In German language, Das Volk means common people. It was through folk songs, folk poetry, and folk dances that the true spirit of the nation, and what is nation known as Volksgeist, was popularized. So, collecting and recording these forms of folk culture was essential to the project of nation building. It was very essential to collect such folk tales, folk stories, folk lores, and poetry. All these were collected and distributed to the citizens, and it was essential to the project of nation building. This was especially so in the case of Poland, which had been partitioned at the end of 18th century by the great powers of Russia, Prussia, and Austria. So all these collectively partitioned Poland. Even though Poland no longer existed as an independent territory, national feelings were kept alive through music and language. Although it was not independent territory, but nationalist feelings were still alive in Poland. Another important character, Karol Karpinski, celebrated the national struggles through his operas and music, turning folk dances like the Polonaise and Mazurka. These are folk dances, Polonaise and Mazurka, into nationalist symbols. So he changed these dance forms into nationalist symbols. Language too played an important role in developing nationalist sentiments. There was a big role of language as well. Russian language was imposed everywhere. It was imposed everywhere because Russia was in power. Many members of the clergy in Poland began to use language as a weapon of national resistance. You can oppose in your language. So many people of Poland, many priests of Poland who were in clergy, those priests started opposing in their own language. As a result, a large number of priests and bishops were put in jail or sent to Siberia by the Russian authorities. So many of the priests were sent to Siberia by the Russian authorities because they were not following the rules and regulations set by Russian government. Because what was the reason? As punishment, they were given punishment for their refusal to preach in Russians. They were preaching in Polish. Next heading that we have hunger, hardship, and popular revolt. Hunger, you know very well. Hardship, people were living the life of hardship, difficulties, and popular revolt. So there was the era of revolt, revolution. The 1830s were years of great economic hardship in Europe. So Europe was facing a great economic hardship in 1830s. The first half of the 19th century saw an enormous increase in population. First half, that means up to 1850s. Europe saw enormous increase in population. In most countries, there were more seekers of job than employment. If more population, that means more seeker of job than employment. Population from rural areas migrated to the cities to live in the overcrowded slum. Population from villages moved to cities, urban areas. Food shortage and widespread unemployment brought the population of Paris out on the roads because there was food shortage and widespread unemployment. People were unemployed, so they were forced to come out on the roads. National Assembly proclaimed a republic, granted suffrage to all adult males above 21. Those who were above the age of 21 years given the authority to vote. If you remember, before that, only property owning men were allowed to vote and guaranteed right to work. And they were given guarantee right to work. Can you tell me what is right to work in India? We have already studied right to work in India. MGNREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Act, that offers 100 days work guaranteed. Earlier in 1845, Webers in Silesia had led a revolt against contractors. Before that, there was a revolt by the Webers. Nearly 18,000 Webers were there in villages in Silesia, had led a revolt against contractors who supplied them raw material and gave them orders for finished textile. They were not getting their wages. That is why they revolted. According to the report of Wilhelm Wolff, so this is the report of Wilhelm Wolff. On 4th June at 2 p.m., a large crowd of Webers emerged from their homes and marched in pairs up to the mansion, to the big house of their contractors, demanding higher wages because they were not able to compete with the machinery goods. The contractor fled with his family to a neighboring village. What was the result? The contractor who was giving them money and raw material flee away with his family to a neighboring village, which however refused to shelter such a person. But that village refused him not to take shelter in the village. He returned 24 hours later, but he returned after 24 hours having police with him, having army with him. And then there was a clash between army and those Webers. And what was the result? In the exchange that followed, you can see in the picture, these are Webers. They have collected themselves to the mansion, the big house, where 11 Webers were shot. So 11 Webers were shot dead in the combat. Now next one, 1848, the revolution of the liberals. I would like to remind you about Frankfurt Parliament. On 18 May 1848, 831 elected personalities, elected representatives, marched in a festive procession to take their places in Frankfurt Parliament. The poor, unemployed, and starving peasants and workers in many European countries in the years 1848, a revolution led by the educated middle classes was underway. So, in the year 1848, there was a revolution led by the educated middle classes going on. Men and women of the liberal middle classes combined their demands for constitutionalism with national unification. Men and women demanded for constitutionalism, a rule of constitution with national unification, and they also demanded national unification. They drafted a constitution for a German nation, and collectively they drafted a constitution for German nation to be headed by a monarchy subject to a parliament, and that will be headed by a monarchy, and that will also be subject to a parliament. There will be a parliament that will be known as Frankfurt Parliament. Wilhelm IV, King of Prussia, was chosen their leader, but he rejected it because he went to another party. He joined hands with other monarchs to oppose the elected assembly. While the opposition of the aristocracy, nobility, and military became stronger, the social basis of parliament eroded. That requirement, that social basis, the basic concept of parliament eroded because of these oppositions. The issue of extending political rights to women was a controversial one within the liberal movement. And one more important thing was also there, the issue of extending political rights. People were not agree with this proposal to give rights to women. Women had formed their own political associations, founded newspaper, and taken part in political meeting and demonstration. By this time, women had their own political associations, newspapers, and political meetings. Women were admitted only as observers to stand in the visitors' gallery. There in the Frankfurt Parliament, they were allowed only to view, only to watch what was going on. Monarchs were beginning to realize that the cycles of revolution and repression could be ended by granting concessions. So, this opposition could be ended. They thought, they began to realize this repression could be ended by granting concessions to the liberal nationalist revolutionaries. Hence, in the year after 1848, the autocratic monarchies of Central and Eastern Europe began to introduce the changes, those changes which were in practice earlier, that had already taken place in Western Europe before 1815 in the time of Napoleon Bonaparte. Thus, serfdom and bonded labor were abolished both in Habsburg dominions and in Russia. The Habsburg rulers granted more autonomy to the Hungarians in 1867. So, those who were in power in Habsburg, they granted more autonomy to the Hungarians in the year 1867. They were given more rights. That's all in this video. Thanks for watching.